the other thing that I want us to also touch on is the challenges of our people in the diaspora. Because you see, I lived in Germany for quite a long time, let's say 1 year. And one thing that I disliked. I mean, it was very sensitive to me. Was the fact that you see people, and it's like what they are doing, the work that they are doing. Trust me, it is not worth it. Do you understand? If they are home and if they are home and you tell them to do the same job that they are doing abroad, they will never do it. But they are there and they are killing. In fact, I met a man who told me that he has been working there, the same job. I mean, he works 3 jobs, I think, and more. And it's the same kind of job. And he has been there for like 20 years. And he told me that this is why we come to Ghana and then we die early. Because he will come and then his system is already broken. But then for the person to come back to Ghana, it's a no for the person. So let's talk about these things. I think let me start with those in the diaspora. Okay, Eben.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I will start with sometimes it's also about it's a bit of pressure from family as well. I think the last time one man was even saying it. Sometimes it's pressure from family. As soon as you step outside Ghana, whether you are studying, whether you are working or not, no matter how much you're struggling, everyone thinks you are making a lot of money. So you have to send money down. Some people who never called you even call you and then tell you that, oh, I'm going through this, I need money. The family members, extended family members who might not have even talked to you when you were back home, still want to contact you and ask for money. So some people are leaned more onto, okay, if I'm already here and I have to provide for those family members, then however I will try to make it so that at least I can send something down and still have some money here and also take care of myself. I'll just do that. And sometimes, especially for those who are a bit ahead in age, that's what keeps them there. Because it's better than coming back home and then everyone knows, okay, now you're back home, there's nothing that you can provide for us. So sometimes they will not even tell you exactly what they are doing out there, but the struggles that people go through just to provide money for people back home. So sometimes it's just pressure from family and then people back home. That's just it. But aside that, I think that we've already mentioned it. Sometimes maybe choose a few of the comforts over the struggles. And I don't know exactly what to say. I get your point. For me personally, sometimes it's even few issues about racism. As we know, no matter what, you are not in your country. You walk about in your country and you don't have to think about the color of skin. But as soon as you are somewhere else, you are even so sensitive about your skin. There are even places where you are the only person standing with the color of your skin. And it's not like it's so comfortable. But sometimes, because of what you also want to achieve, you just stay here and then you deal with those things. So I think that the reasons would vary, but I will touch on the family pressure aspects as I know.
Emmanuel.
Because you mentioned about the struggle that people still go through to find money.
All right. So yeah, the last one, let me just add the last one. I think the last one will still be about the mindset. Because let me tell you, I always tell people that me staying in Germany wasn't challenging. The most challenging aspect of my stay in Germany was coming back to Ghana when I told them that I wanted to return to Ghana. And this was what some also told me. It's almost like you coming to Ghana is basically maybe 3 things. Either you are bewitched, or you are crazy, or you are going back to poverty. You understand? So those things sink into your mind, and you think that coming back is the wrong decision that you're making. The mindset.
Let me quickly touch on
indoctrination. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I've been one of the biggest proponents of supporting Ghana and all of that stuff. But sometimes the more I listen to the mindset of our people, you begin to give up. You know, like, will this thing work? Because you come and die for your own people, and you will lose everything because the people that you are trying to help do not want to be saved. So why put yourself in that position? So it's really something that we need to. Again, I'll put it on the media. We need to start saying things on the airwaves that will put pressure on we as Ghanaians, that the way we think about ourselves and the way we always want to see that ourselves feel is not a good thing. It's not a good thing. The effort that we invest in causing strifes and so-called beef and problems between ourselves, if we were using it to push ourselves forward, we'll go a long place. Okay, so we need to change that disposition towards our own people and the things that we do. It's not right. You will not hear a Ghanaian celebrate a Ghanaian until somebody else from another place celebrates them. Then all of a sudden, hey, then it means this person is doing good. Then now let's also speak about it. What kind of pathetic mindset is that? We need to have that thing resolved. And moving on to the issue around the diaspora doing a menial job, that again, I'll approach it from a mindset perspective. If you're not confident about yourself, if you have a low self-esteem, of course, when you come up, I told myself when I was coming to the UK that I was not going to do any cleaning job. I was not going to do any menial job. If it came to that, I'll go back to Ghana because I was not afraid of coming. It's not as if I have to be. I've always told people that I'm not the abroche type, that I enjoy abroche so much that I'm afraid of coming to Ghana or anything of the sort. Of course, situations are different, so I can't speak for people. But things I told myself was that, number one, I wasn't going to come overseas if I did not have a scholarship for my education, or I didn't have the money to come and pay for my education, so that I will come and hustle. I didn't want to hustle. Number two, I've seen that a lot of times the people that we have here, if you may sometimes not be educated people. So when we come as educated people and we ask our aunties and our uncles about jobs, it is what they know that they'll refer us to. Okay, so if for them it is the cleaning jobs that they are doing, it's the same thing that they will recommend for us, even though there are opportunities for us to get better jobs. I've met some people who had degrees and underestimated their degrees until they apply for certain jobs, and then in the job interview, when they mentioned that they had a degree, said, "Oh, you do?" The person brought out a degree, and they were like, "Oh, excellent! You already have what's the name? An undergrad degree, so you can start from this position." They didn't even respect themselves, even though they had the qualifications and everything. Okay, I've seen that confidence go a long way. Like Eben was saying, racism has its place and all of that. But if you are confident about yourself, you have respect for yourself, and you want to achieve a certain standard, people respect that. That is one thing I've seen. And so if we come to a space where our mindset is we are not seeking for knowledge as to what kinds of job am I qualified for, what kind of jobs can I do, and we rather just ask our relatives who sometimes may not be the educated types, but they hustle through other means to come overseas, then the options that will be exposed to us will be, in quotes, the menial jobs. It doesn't mean that if you are doing it as part of some other jobs in order to get a lot of hours within the week and get a lot of money to go and do some investment or something, fair enough. But it should not be the place where we find home to relax. And like you're saying, yes, I've seen that it is a lot of African people who are doing it, but most of the time it's Ghanaians. I don't meet a lot of Nigerians doing cleaning jobs in the UK. In fact, if they would even do the cleaning job, it would be for a short period of time to put them in a better position to move on. They never settle in it. But I know of some Ghanaians who have been doing cleaning jobs for 10 years, for 15 years, for 20 years, because we easily get comfortable. And this mindset to say, okay, like, okay, you get it? So that is another of the problem, where it is not for lack of opportunity, but it is this mindset of being comfortable and not willing to push for the next level and all that kind of stuff. So that's another thing. If more of us would push and have a plan, just don't be comfortable with being abroad. You see, I literally met somebody at the shop the other time. They were having a conversation, but they were speaking in English. So I heard what they were talking about. And this lady was like, Mama, like seriously. So someone like that, when they get in quotes a menial job or a job which is not well paying, they'll feel they are blessed, like, oh, thank God I even have something to do. Meanwhile, perhaps even with the person's qualifications, they could actually do more. So that is another thing that is there. I think that sometimes it's the expectations people put upon themselves, the confidence that they have in themselves, their mindset as to how and what things they can do and all of that. The last thing with regards to returning back home, if you're afraid to return home, that is how come you cut corners. When I first came from my master's, I had people who told me that, why don't you stay behind? And for me, at that time I was in Scotland and I was not getting a lot of food to eat. So I couldn't wait to come to Ghana. Food is not even worse. Food is a big deal for me. In this place that I'm living, it is extremely rare for me to go and get, unless I want to just go out to a restaurant, take a friend out, or something. Otherwise, I'm eating my fufu, my banku, my rice, my jollof, my wache. Those are the things I eat. My gobe. I bet you know the gobe gang. Yeah, so I am not overly, I think that if you're not overly, afraid of going back to Ghana, you'll be able to do some moves and make some decisions that probably will help you propel you here. Unfortunately, some of our people see this place as heaven, and even though they are really, really hustling and going through, we know family members, friends, loved ones all over the place who might be going through very tough times, but because of the perspective that they have of going back home, they are unable to go. But I also need to chip in that sometimes too, we need to understand where people are coming from, because if I may put it this way, I am educated, so I could afford to say that, you know what, I'm packing my bags to go back home and I'll be able to get a fairly respectable job to do. Some of our other people who are here may not have the education and the kind of jobs that, if you may, they are qualified for here, which is giving them enough to, sustain themselves and do all of those kinds of stuff. If they were to come back home and do the same jobs, they will not survive. So sometimes that is the position or the mindset that they are coming from. And so if you tell them you are coming back, they are looking at your situation from that lens, thinking that you are crazy, because for them, there's no way they could have experienced or got the opportunity to do those things that they are doing here if they were in Ghana doing similar jobs. So sometimes that's the perspective that these things come from. But I think that for us who are educated and hopefully has even engaged in some corporate job for some time, you can't have that kind of mindset. If you're afraid of going back home, it will inform your decisions that you take. And sometimes it will make you settle for less.
All right, maybe.
With the mindset, I quickly wanted to contribute because for me, I've been thinking about it, and I think the problem is still our mindset. Even as we discuss here, I mean, the example you gave, let me use that as a perfect example. You use your cleaning thing as an example. And let me attack your mindset a little bit in a positive way, depending on how you look at it. You see, that mindset, which tells you cleaning is a menial job, I think that alone in itself is not, it is part of the problems. So we think, oh, cleaning is a menial job. And right from day one, when we are born in our parts of the world, our parents are telling us, oh, grow up to become a doctor, grow up to be this, grow up to be an accountant, grow up to be that. And so we tend to look down upon other things. For me, I don't see cleaning as a menial job. I see it as an equally important job like that of a doctor. And it's because of the upbringing I have been through. I think our cultural or our reason, our upbringing is the problem for us in Africa, because we attribute great things to white collar jobs. That is why people back home will not clean. You won't find them sweeping, but they'll go outside and they'll do it. And it's because of the value we place on such jobs in our parts of the world. That's how come they are paid less. Meanwhile, in some parts of the world, people are cleaning for a lot of money. You rightly mentioned that the Abrofo or the Obroni who were equally cleaning in Germany would get a lot more, and then they will subcontract to blacks and then pay less or little. How come an Obroni in his own country is cleaning and they are getting paid, they are getting a lot of money? So the value or whatever we place on these things have actually affected us. And so back home, somebody is even shy of doing that kind of a job. And because of the stigma or the low value we have placed on these jobs, we tend to be paid very little. In fact, they are working so hard. Cleaners are working so hard, but they are being paid, they are worse off, I'll say. Let's look at in our country, Zoom Lion. They are basically collecting a fee almost as a baller. Baller for. But then look at Zoom Lion, one of the richest human beings on earth. I wouldn't even say Ghana. Maybe, I mean, sometimes people are so rich that you don't even find information about them out there. But he's one of the richest human beings on earth. Isn't it Gata, dredge masters, almost to take at him. They are collecting garbages and all that. And then he's rich off. But then look at those who are actually on the grounds doing the work. They are worse off. Why? Because society have placed low value on those such jobs. And I think the narratives should change. It should start from us. We shouldn't tell our children that grow up to become a doctor and that's the only job that is so important. We can equally get them to understand that, no, these are also, because I don't think helping a community tidy up is that bad. In fact, if we are even able to tidy up, well, we wouldn't get to pandemics and all that as a result of health or
I am back for you.
Death.
Because I was going, but because of you, I'm back.
Oh, don't go. So I think the narratives should change. And for me, I'd rather clean. I would make tiffin in Ghana than come to somebody's country to do it, because I am not afraid. I'm not shy to do it, and somebody will laugh or whatever. And it's because of my personal upbringing. Maybe so that's where I'm. So even as I sit here, and then I'm sure a couple of you know about my TZ or food business. Sometimes they are there and somebody will say, hey, now you lawyer me and our solicitor, the way you're highly educated and you are doing this. I don't know. Some of us and also sage one is in fact, and the cry chain books, no, you know. And it depends on how polished or how you brand it. So I think the narratives should change. We shouldn't see cleaning, say a menial job or whatever.
Baby, the narrative won't change. Let me show you why the narrative won't change. It is dependent on the value that the job brings. Okay, so for instance, just in the example that you were talking about, the owner of Zoom Lion is an entrepreneur. The role that he plays, for instance, if he is the CEO, I'm not too sure, but he is the CEO of the company. He is not necessarily the one cleaning. He's the one making decisions. Good. The one doing the cleaning job is a replaceable job. Today, we have machines that can do the cleaning. That's an unskilled labor. And so long as
somebody will have to operate the machines.
Yes, but then you would see that the person who's operating the machine would be a skilled labor in some sense, or at least have some level of skill in operating the machines. So it's not a matter of narrative or society defining anything. It's a matter of the level of skill and how easily replaceable you are. Okay, so it's not as if some jobs and you know that even here in the UK, the person who is sweeping the streets or the person who sweeps in one universities that I meet around are not earning anything close to the person who is the CEO or the person who is a teacher or a lecturer in the university or anything of that sort. So the standard is the same all across the world. It's dependent on the level of skill that you bring to your job, especially on the sad thing, unfortunately, for today's world that we're living in, with the increase in AI and machine learning and all of that, a lot of repetitive jobs, even sometimes some aspect of being a medical doctor, is going to be replaced by a machine. Okay, so it's not something that can be changed by changing the narrative.
It can, Sawyer, it can, because I think it will. It would. It should change, and it should start. It should start from us, because I don't see. I have a problem with the fact that people cannot be degree holders or whatever holders cannot be barbers in Ghana, but in the UK. I don't know whether the last time I met you we discussed that. I don't remember whether we discussed that.
But you see,
they are doing barbering there. Why can't they do barbering here? Because society, they are afraid society will laugh at them. And
no,
that's why I'm
actually barbering is
change.
better. Barbering is better. Like, for instance, there are certain jobs which make a lot of money here and should make a lot of money in Ghana. For instance, plumbing, carpentry. I
mean, like, those artisan. Yes,
those ones are different from, those ones are different from cleaning. Those ones are skilled jobs which are difficult to be replaced by machines.
But we equally don't respect them here. We
that is a problem.
Don't respect them here. Even in the UK, if you are driving, you have a lot of money, but we don't even respect barbers. If you are in the security services, you are highly respected and very well paid. But here in Ghana, we don't even respect them. We don't regard them. So that's where it's not just with the cleaning.
And
so
let's separate that from cleaning. Because cleaning
and I think one other thing that we could also project here is that in Germany, for instance, the cleaning job that people do, they have, segments of it. One segment of the cleaning job is where they term as black job. So they have, actually given a name to that kind of cleaning, black job. And trust me, this black job is what you will be killing yourself at the moment of the day for just, not so much. Even if it is much, you cannot use it for what you really want to achieve. You understand? Another thing is, these people doing the cleaning outside, when they come to Ghana, they want the offices. They don't want to do the cleaning. You understand? So what will propel somebody to do a cleaning outside? Like when I go outside, I want to, I'm comfortable, I want to do the cleaning. But when I come to Ghana here, and you tell the person to do the cleaning, the person might even insult you.
Yes, because over there, cleaning. But Ghana, we will laugh at him. And that's the point I'm making. Ghana, if you're one of your uncles in Germany, and the last time I was there at the Berlin airport, is it Schiphol? No, Schiphol is Amsterdam. One of the airports. Some fine Ghanaian man, nice guy, very nice man, older, very, very handsome man. Oh, check cleaning up. Oh yeah, not a folly, because he was so fine. He was so fine. And I'm like, oh my God. The way I was saying, where are you cleaning? Me say, in Ghana, would you do this? You won't, because I don't know. What I say. So it boils down to our society and how we regard these jobs. That same person in Ghana, now also cleaning Ghana airports. I mean, how are his family members even? I said, why? What do you want? And all those things. So they better do it over there than to come here. And it boils down to the fact that we look down upon, and it's the mindset. When we are growing up, our parents, everybody's parents want them to become, say, come and become a journalist, do this, be a doctor, be one of my teachers. My mom met my primary school proprietor or JSS proprietor. And then at the time I was in Yasantua, the teacher or the proprietor asked my mom what course I was studying, and my mom mentioned general arts. The man said, oh. Yeah, Mavis there, she could have done science. Why science? Why science? Is science alone the only? I mean, what if we all decide to do science? How would the world be? So it's about time it should start from us. So if you have a daughter or a son and the person wants to do, say, creative something, so whatever, allow them. Don't create the impression as though some job is so menial or something. Maybe they have a different twist, they have a different perspective to whatever it is, and they are going to change the way things should be about that particular job. So that's what I'm saying, that is basically about our upbringing and what our family system, the fact that Obia should be a semu and all that. But over there, it's not like that. Obia phobia, unless it will infringe on the safety of others.
Okay.
So
I mean,
yes.
I think I side with you on the fact that cleaning is not a menial job. You know, actually, I went through the system, and when I came back, I appreciated our cleaners. Not that I didn't initially. I mean, at first, I was not that I wasn't respecting them, but I have more respect for them now because of the nature of the job. You understand? So I think cleaning shouldn't be termed as menial job. It's another job that we need to respect. Okay, so Kwame, since you've hopped in, you go.
So let me Mavis, just a little I think you've made a strong point. And I think it onus lies on us growing. Yes, we are raising our children now, that we can give them a proper orientation, a proper upbringing. We can see my thing is, in my house where I was brought up, I wasn't brought up to look down on anybody. So the fact that you are a cleaner doesn't mean I have to disrespect you and respect the CEO more than you, right? Your job may not be on the same level of my job, but the thing is, respect has to be on the same level. The skill I have is different from you, but respect, we are all human beings, so I respect everybody. That's what we are supposed to instill in our children growing up, and that's the mindset we need to have. But the other part that I don't, I sort of disagree with you a little bit is, it's good to clean. I think like some of these things, they are attributes that we are supposed to instill in ourselves growing up. Okay, but add onto your, okay, the Bible says that add onto your knowledge virtue, and onto your virtue temperance, and your temperance wisdom. See, so there's levels to everything. Do you understand? So don't stay on the cleaning level. Don't stay on that level. Like, aim for higher. Okay, not to say that. That's why I started with respect. So the fact that you are cleaning doesn't mean I should disrespect you, but aim to become better than just being a cleaner. Okay, just in case that if they want to replace you with a machine, you wouldn't find yourself wanting, but they can find another skill inside of you that they would want to upgrade you from just being a menial cleaner to. Because sweet, even journalism, Ameya's job right now is at risk because Microsoft replaced journalists that were publishing on Microsoft News with AIs. So Ameya's job, if Ameya was working with Microsoft News as a writer, his job is at risk. So imagine if he doesn't have an extra skill that he would become a bit more useful to Microsoft on that level. We're losing a Juma. You know, so let's not be comfortable on the being on the ground. Let's always aim to add on to ourselves. Me, that's the thing that I would say. But let's respect people for who they are and for whatever job that they are doing.
All right, so Nana, NY.
You see, when you look at the circumstances, I think everybody's circumstance is different. Okay, some people would come in and start with a menial job. Some Ghanaians would start with a menial job and progress. Others would start and stay in it and be there, right? when it comes to living outside, one major thing that can hinder your growth is having the right documentation. If you don't have the right documents, you can bring it, but you won't get any job. So if you are like that, the only thing preventing you from getting a job is documentation, then that means the system is not for you. Go back, and if you have the degrees and all that, you can find a better job for yourself. Some people don't have the education, they don't have the documentation, they don't have what is required for them to push forward. Such a person, if they decide to go back and they have to do the similar job as they are doing in the West, they won't earn as much as they are earning in the West. So, like I said, every particular Obia story, Obia is we can have a general idea, but we should not make general rules or general comments about some of these things, else it rub others wrongly. Because people think they don't have a choice, in quotes. They don't have a choice. And if they do a cost-benefit analysis for themselves, they are better off doing those jobs. Let's say that it pays them $10 an hour. Maybe I've even exaggerated that amount. Let's say $8 or something, but let's use 10 for a better calculation. And they work 40 hours a week. That's $400. $400 in a week, if you convert it to Ghana cedis, that's almost like exactly. That's amount in a week for a cleaner. If they do the same job in Ghana, you won't get $50, 50 cedis in an hour. You won't get even 10 cedis an hour. 10 cedis maybe the whole day. Yeah, one is that amount, you know. So if that person thinks about it and say, mini degree, mini way, mini kata will come here, but you may be underground. Say, this is the amount I can get. So you see, such a character don't even compare big company big money, because like they won't allow legally. Inti almost you just cancel crash with chicken changer or compare the life I will live in Ghana now. He feels that Sesikano is enough for him or for her. I think it's a good decision for that person to make if he weighs it and he thinks that it's better for them. It's their personal decision, and it's okay for them to make that decision. But when Sawyer also talks about, okay, what could school, maybe for a short period, you know, when sorting maybe out, and I say, also we are, you have a plan. Okay, this for a period, we are, make sure you upgrade. But if you get stuck in that loop and you undercut yourself and undervalue yourself, then that's what the problem is. If it's not working, Charlie, go back. You have the degree, you have the education, find something to do that would. You see, there's a difference between getting a job and creating a career. So you think of your career and go back and build your career, than just get that job that will pay you small if you are, in a progressive way. But will be only education any day. I think it's a good business for them to do and to get some money, because we also have to take care of people back home. And lastly, you going back. Yeah, I think that seeking advice when you go outside, you have to seek advice from people who have a certain experience. I always say that the international student experience is different from somebody who won a permanent residency to go and live abroad, maybe the US or the UK. Somebody who went there as an international student, your experience is different from somebody who got a permanent residency immediately. The things you have to go through as international, the restrictions and all that, it kind of forces you to think outside the box, to try so many things. So when you are seeking counsel for certain decisions, you may not get the right advice from people who haven't had that experience. They will tell you what they know. And the example he gave was that Obi Ono, like Penny, like he doesn't have one school degree. He thinks that it's too late for them to go to school. Our clean jobs are advice of the Bama is from somebody who also came there as international and did a particular kind of went to a particular training and has seen things from a different perspective. So you can seek advice, but try to broaden the scope of people you seek advice from. It's always good to seek advice. And that's one thing that is lacking in society, mentorship. We don't have mentors in our society. We don't have mentors outside of even here. Here, some people will try to mentor you, but they will, of course, it won't be official, but of course, okay, sorry, we will be a share advice. It's all part of mentorship. But the whole system say, okay, my school, maybe we went through this. There should be a system where I can advise a person on what I went through and give them more ideas. Because that's information will happen. We see information will be asked. Information will be asked because there are so many things in the US. There are things in the US and in the UK. Yes, in the system that are available to you, but because you don't know, you are just there. You know, many things that people can do, people can take advantage of, people can apply for, scholarships here and there that people can apply for, that they just don't know where or how to do it, and you are sitting down. You know, so mentoring people and find, like, being able to give good advice, I think is something that the diaspora, the African diaspora actually needs a lot of. All our advice is from church, which is good, but those who do it, sometimes in Penifona or you know, they will give advice on what they know. But I think that we should have a more structured system where it's not just the advice coming from a particular angle, but a more holistic advice or a more holistic mentorship approach where people have all the arsenals they need to make certain sound decisions.
All right. Jesse?
When it comes to, I think mindset is one of the most important things that we as Africans and even Ghanaians, especially since we are from the same place, should actually look to actually improve. Because one thing is always constant, that is change. Okay, change is never going to stop. Okay, so when it comes to having our mindset being stagnant, it is a problem. Okay, of course, we've all been brought up, we've all learned things growing up, but change is always going to happen. If we allow ourselves, we're always going to change. But the caveat here is we have to make sure that the change that is coming, we're actually having checks to it, that we're not just necessarily going to accept anything that is inferior to our belief systems, right? So our mindset is always important thing. For Sonny Badu saying that is very true, right? I think I fell a victim to it a couple of years back when I was talking to a friend. I'm like, I think somebody all of a sudden sprung up in Ghana and was one of doing so many things in Ghana. I'm like, hey, right? So my friend was like, I shouldn't think like that, because if I think like that, any moment that I also come out and somebody's always going to stand somewhere and say like, hey, I'm free. So it kind of hit me hard. I'm like, why would I even start thinking like that? I don't even know what the person does. All I'm seeing is the outward. I wasn't there when he was struggling. I wasn't there in the process. All of a sudden that maybe one media guy saw it like, oh, this person is actually doing good and decided to bring the person out. I'm here criticizing. So I think the mindset is basically one of the most important things that we as human beings and Ghanaians should have to look at. When it comes to why we do certain jobs here too, I think that like kindness, basically if people tell you guys that Nipa Kraba be seen so first, it will make or break you, right? So the first time I got here, right, I was told to what? The first question I was asked is, what license, right? And I'm saying yes. Okay, me from Madam Fukabi man quick taxi. I mean, not to say the business is not a lucrative business. It is a very lucrative business that a lot of people make a lot of money out of. But it took one person to tell me that, hey, Jesse, of course, what your uncle is telling you that go drive a taxi is a very good thing. You're going to make money, you're able to send money home, you'll be able to do X, Y, and Z. But it is going to hinder you from progressing in the sense that you are going to be comfortable, because me coming from Ghana, I wasn't making maybe $1,000, 1,000 cedis a month. Now, if I can come here, I can make that in a day. I can make that in a day. It can work on your mindset to be like, oh, I'm good, right? It can work on your mindset and you just jump onto it. I think that education also ties down into this. the people that we meet here especially expose us to the things that they have been exposed to. When people get comfortable and do not leave their comfort zones now, they're always stuck to this little box that they think say nothing outside the box is going to work. Sisi, I'm a soldier, and I would say it's one of the best decisions I ever took to actually leave that comfort zone and then start something now. Because right now I can do things that I couldn't do back then. Okay, it has opened so many doors, so many opportunities. But beginning, people didn't understand it. People were like, oh, as some will be catching me say, hey, audition koko. You see, like, so certain things you have to actually look at certain things and see, say, it is the mindset of people that actually ties into everything. I know, say, Ghanaians, we are more conservative. We do not, yeah, shouldn't pray especially as much as the Nigerians do. Most Nigerians, they want to be out there. They want to risk stuff. But I know, say, yes, you always have to risk to get to somewhere. So I think that education is one of the most important things that a lot of the people who came here early didn't have. So they got stuck to a certain kind of, a certain line of business that they do, and they always want to expose us to it. And if you get comfortable, you're going to get stuck. Because of course, taxi makes a lot of money. Living makes a lot of money. And security makes a lot of money, right? But it gets people comfortable. Right, and that is why security like look at the difference. Security how about watch my Ghana. So all that societal status issues also tie into that to make us understand say the Wahana Yafrim security now I feel a little bit better about myself. Why would I come home and for somebody to actually look down on me and say, I could cry watch my. So those are some of the things, the reasons why people do not want to come back. Not because I know people here, right? People here who have a krata, right? And they are still doing menial jobs. They are comfortable, right? They are comfortable. Nobody is going to come and look down on them and say, oh, they are in Pakwe, and I say, of course. I remember I said back in New York, right? The people who were making a lot of money were trash people. And you know how many times that they hired people in a year? It was just one time. And do you know how many people that applied to that job? So many people. But at the end of the day, Niafa 50 out of, if I say 100 people, and I say Niafa say more than 1,000 people, pay 50 per near form. Right? But when you come back to our system, it's totally different. Right? People would not want to expose themselves to certain kind of job because of how society is going to see them, how what is their status going to look like. At the end of the day, I respect Mavis for what she's doing. Say, even aside the status of being a lawyer and as a solicitor, she still knows that status no for the any table. So what I say, but a lot of people have that mindset. Say, you know, status or whatever job that they do is going to make a difference for them. See, I mean, I think that is what I have to add, and I appreciate your time.
All right, Willand, take us home.
So I'll make it very quick. Make it very quick. So when it comes to the training, I think most of the things that you said, and most of the we know the new strategies, because every now and then new strategies are coming to really wipe off the physical human. But then how to make yourself relevant is very important. So you need more the training. And then with the living, I think that there should be a focus on each one of us that we want to achieve something. We want to bring up something. So that kind of thing will drive you.
All right, thank you very much. So thank you guys. I think we've exhausted the topic very well.